Hey, Doug.
Are you from, where are you from?
Anywhere.
Anywhere? I know, I mean, why are you taping it? Just because?
Is this a public event?
Yeah, well, no, I don't care. I was just wondering, if you'd like to introduce
It's
yourself.
right, isn't it?
Yes.
Huh? Yeah, of course it is. I was just wondering what your name is. I was going to introduce myself.
Oh.
So.
Well,
No defense.
Ron's a frequent contributor to the Spokesman.
Okay, well, no problem. Nice to meet you, Ron.
okay.
I'm Mary Wissing. I'm chair of the 6th Legislative
Okay.
District. Okay.
Well, you probably know my friend Dave Wiring.
I do know him
Okay.
very well.
Oh.
Probably better than I'd like to admit.
Oh, okay.
He just wants the bed. No, he puts all nice things in the cupboard.
How'd you know these people are citizens?
Huh?
How'd you know these people? People were right?
I am a networking type woman. I can.
But why did the spokesman review not have
Oh, in advance?
Yeah. Well, they reviewed this clause.
Well, there's got to be a conspiracy.
Yes, there is. I'm here, Doug.
And you started it.
I know.
There's no fourth.
Enter cue the wingnuts.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
Good evening, and welcome to the 6th Legislative District Democratic Forum Debate. Would you please stand, and Lynette Dears, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the rules have already been explained to the candidates, so I'll explain a little bit to you. Opening statements are 2 minutes, and each candidate gets a minute and a half to answer each question. There's a coin toss, and Sheriff Knezovich won. So he'll start, and he will also finish first. There are 3 questions that will have rebuttal, which is 30 seconds rebuttal, and then we are going to take questions, hopefully 3 or 4 from the audience that you've written. After this debate, I'm going to put them in a Word format and send them to each candidate so that they will know what your questions are, maybe for a later debate. We're honored to have the first debate in the series. And I wanted to introduce a few people. I am Mary Wissink, and I am the chair of the 6th Legislative District. Don Dover, out there, he signed you in. He's our vice chair. I don't know if he's in here or not, so he could stand if he is. And Lynette Beers is our state committee woman. Lynette, would you please stand? Here she is. Thank you for coming. And Elliot Fabric is going to be our timekeeper. He is our state committee man. Elliot. We have Lorna Walsh right here. She's our secretary. There's a few little announcements I'd like to make. We're celebrating Roe v. Wade, and it's going to be at Stella's next Wednesday. So instead of coming here, you can go to Stella's. It's a great little place. It's 917 West Riverside. Come celebrate our rights. Also, the Spokane County Democratic Party is having a legacy dinner. It's one of our fundraisers, and it is March 21st at the Lincoln Center. So if you're interested in coming, please grab a form in the back or tell someone and sign you up. Okay, and so without further ado, I'm going to introduce the candidates. And like I said, Sheriff Knezovich didn't win the toss. So Sheriff Knezovich, stand, and then Douglas Orr. Okay. We need to thank them very much course, they'll be available, I'm sure, for any questions that you have. So we're gonna start now with Ozzie Knezovich doing opening.
Well, thank you for hosting this forum. It's good to see this much turnout. Tonight, folks, you're going to hear a lot about leadership. Today, you're going to hear about visions. Today, you're going to hear about the path that we need to be on to further grow this county and keep it safe. The real choice that you're going to have to make is, are you going to take leadership that says no? Or are you going to take leadership that actually says, yes, we have to fix these things, and it may not be politically correct to tell people what you are trying to accomplish, why we need to do certain things. That is leadership. Leadership is not being passé. Leadership is moving this community forward. If we had been passé 8 years ago, Crime Check never would have been come back. It took leadership to bring Crime Check back. It takes leadership to say, folks, something's broken, we need to pay for it, and we need to bring it back. Crime Check is back. Crime Check gave you, the public, the ability to report crime at a very easy way. It gave law enforcement the ability to identify where crime is occurring and go after that crime and work with the public to do so. That is what leadership is about. Moving this community forward and keeping this community safe. Crime. You hear a lot about crime, but would you be surprised to know that in the unincorporated areas of Spokane County, violent crime is down 60% since 2007. Property crimes in the unincorporated area is down 2%. Folks, that is a monumental feat given the fact that 4 years ago we started losing 34 deputy positions. I look forward to further discussing these issues tonight.
Good evening. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank the 6th Legislative District for the opportunity to have this lively discussion about the future of law enforcement in Spokane County. Tonight you're going to see two distinct and completely different visions of the Spokane County Sheriff's Office. One vision will be reactive, the other will be proactive for how Spokane County can best serve the sheriff. One vision includes increasing taxes on Spokane County residents by $340 million. The other vision brings with it property crimes reduction strategy that includes the potential to put $20 million back into the pockets of taxpayers. One vision includes a flawed human resource practice which has cost Spokane County taxpayers over $700,000 by not following legal procedure. The other vision calls for firm, fair, and a lawful workplace with employees who are moral, virtuous, and ethical. One vision says more money for more cops equals lower crime. The other vision says we can have lower property crime through better managed officers. One vision believes in a flavorless service contract when it comes to law enforcement coverage for Spokane County contract cities. The other vision understands that law enforcement needs in Spokane Valley are not the same as they are in Rockford. One vision wants to politicize the office of sheriff and talk about coal trains. The other vision understands that law enforcement is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. It's a nonpartisan issue, and the office should be treated as such. One person has been dragged by this community to institute smart justice programs. The other person wholly embraces the idea and promises to lead the way. Thank you.
Okay, and I wanted to tell you before we get started, the 6th Legislative District Executive Committee has made a determination that we will not go into personnel issues. These questions are for you to become more informed so that when you come out of this tonight, hopefully you'll learn something from one or both of the candidates and that you will be more educated come November. So with that, I will start. And this first question is to Sheriff Knezovich, and with response. Share your beliefs in an independent citizen oversight. What authority would you endorse for the sheriff's office, and what role should civilians have in oversight and use of force complaints? Do you support the findings we published to the public?
I do believe in citizen oversight in officer-involved deaths. If you go back and look at some of the officer-involved deaths that have occurred in this community, I brought not only the city ombudsman into the sheriff's office to review those instances, but I also brought the citizen advisory board for the sheriff's office, and I also asked a former state ethicist for the state of Washington to come and oversee all of those investigations. The sad part about that is no one really reported on all of the oversight and what was done to review those situations. No one really talked to the city ombudsman when the final press conference was given on one of the most impactful of those, the Wayne Scott Creech matter. And the ombudsman looked at me and went, "Ozzie, I was here, no one asked any questions." And from that time on, no one really has asked those questions. So we do need to have and make sure that we include the citizens in all oversights and all reviews. I firmly believe that you should not run a closed shop. That is why Chief Patrick and I changed the way that officer-involved shootings are and deaths are reviewed in Spokane County, where your agency does not review your own incident.
And I understand the question is, what role do you see civilians in oversight? Currently, what my opponent just described to you was the idea that only certain people are invited to that review process. When I'm elected sheriff, that review process is going to be put out over webcam so everybody can see it. 9 times out of 10, I believe that the hard work of the employees or the sheriff's office were correct in doing what they were doing. There shouldn't be any reason why anyone can't know that material.
Thank you. We have heard a lot in the news about train derailments and oil tanker explosions. There are proposals to dramatically increase the shipment of oil by train through Spokane. Do you believe that the Spokane County deputy sheriffs are equipped to handle the derailment emergency of an oil train? What will you do or have you done to prepare your deputies? It's to Ozzie. Ozzie goes first and all, and everything. No?
No.
Okay. Got it. Sorry.
Well, since I don't have any deputies yet. Emergency management protocol has been fine-tuned over the years, and if you would like to lull yourself to sleep one night, go ahead and get a copy of it. It's several hundred pages, well, not several hundred, but it's very thick. And it outlines in that book just exactly what role each agency has. And in the past, several agencies have gotten together and practiced on that. As far as the coal train issue goes, I think right now we don't know enough about that issue, and I think as long as it's studied, we can know more about it as far as how it's going to affect the intersections, how we're going to respond. I think that politicizing it, though, isn't the role of the sheriff's office, and only in a public safety context should we examine it.
I'm glad Doug took the time to read that manual that my staff and I took the time to write and prepare. As sheriff, I'm also the director of the Department of Emergency Management. Since I've been sheriff, we have had our Emergency Management Council meetings. That's the first time they ever happened. We have put together a robust, comprehensive plan. We have conducted yearly training scenarios ranging from wildfires to train derailments to ice storms. Those are the things that we have done to protect our community. We developed those plans. We developed an extensive evacuation plan for Spokane County. We have always been working towards making sure that we were prepared. Spokane County, under my leadership, developed mitigation plans and restoration plans. And we were the first time ever recovered federal money for fire in this community. And when the ice storm and the snows hit in 2008, 2009, we were able to recruit over $6 million worth of emergency funding for our businesses to recover from that natural disaster. That's what leadership is about. Leadership is about moving your team forward and your team making sure they make the difference.
Okay, this question then goes to, okay. With the elimination of the specialty unit that investigates drug crimes, how are you or have you addressed the present and future enforcement of drug enforcement? What is the status of the undercover drug unit?
The status of the undercover drug unit is that they are working also with the property crimes unit because those two crimes work together. One usually feeds the other. Property crimes are a very real issue in this community, and we have drastically reduced property crimes in Spokane County. In 2012, we formed a burglary task force, and we're still enjoying a 37% decrease in residential burglaries from 2012 to 2013. That is the things that we have worked on. The drug issue, we have actually multi-drug units in this community. You have a regional drug task force, a gang task force which works drugs. You have still 3 members of the property crimes unit that will work drug issues. The real issue is, why do we have 3? Well, actually have 4 if you count the city of Spokane. Why have we not had the insight and foresight to combine all those drug units and develop one single robust drug unit that could wipe out the intermediate drug trade within this community? And I'll tell you why we haven't done it. There isn't enough political courage to get it done at times. But this has been the plan that I gave to Jim McDevitt, a member of the Criminal Justice Commission, who just wrote that blueprint for this community and adopted the majority of my ideas in how and what we need to combine in this community.
Thank you. Next question goes to Douglas.
Do I get to respond?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, what do you need to respond?
I thought there was no rebuttal.
I can respond.
Go ahead, you get to respond. You want to answer first?
I'd like to say something. When we talk about the drug unit, the 10th Amendment is an interesting thing, isn't it? This year we've seen the legalization of marijuana, and it's going to significantly control or move what we do in law enforcement. That's what the community has said we need to do, so we're going to do that. You're hearing a lot about statistics tonight. Statistics are kind of like a bikini. What they reveal is suggestive, but what they conceal is vital. If you say that you have a 80% drop in crime, I always say, compared to what? If one month you have a crime rate of 70, and the next month you have a crime rate of 71, and the following month you go down to 70.2, you have an 80% drop in crime. That's not significant, though. I always ask compared to what. So tonight, ask compared to what.
Thank you. Okay, the next question does go to you, Douglas.
Okay.
Get to answer first. Do you support the recommendations of the Spokane Regional Criminal Justice Commission's report? How are you going to work to implement those recommendations if you support it?
Regarding law enforcement, there are, I think, about 4 or 5. One of them has to do with consolidation, and that simply says that consolidate where you need to, or consolidate where you can, and that's common sense. The other 2 proposals, there are 2 more that are significant. One has to do with addressing property crime. The city of Daytona Beach partnered with Dr. David Farrington to develop a burglary profile. Burglary costs this country $5 billion a year. We only solved probably about 13% of those crimes. And those are about $2.5 million burglaries. So what they did was develop a profile. And after using this profile against 3 other police departments, those control groups, they found that by using this profile, they were able to triple their chances of making an arrest, and their clearance rate was 4 times of the other agencies. The economic review put about $1.6 million back into the department, and another impact of $20 million back into the community. I'm going to bring that here to Spokane with little or no cost to you.
What is the advantage of having 2 public information officers? PI. Oh, wait a minute, wait, sorry. Yeah, you can, sorry.
Thank you. Let's talk about Smart Justice, ladies and gentlemen. Smart Justice started in this community, believe it or not, in 2007, 2008, when Mark Richard and I went down to Hillsborough, Florida to look at a jail project. I pulled the inmate aside and said, do these programs really work? He said, Sheriff, if we would have had these when I was 18, I wouldn't be in jail being 40. We hired the right consultants, a gentleman by the name of David Bennett. And David Bennett, with Mark Richard and I, brought Smart Justice to this community. Smart Justice is all about breaking the pipeline of juvenile violence and crime from the adult violence and crime pipelines. Smart Justice is about reducing recidivism by having programs that deal with alcohol, drug, mental health. Are you aware that the Spokane County Jail is the only jail in the state of Washington licensed to deal with mental health issues? That is what Smart Justice is about. You deal with the root causes in order to change the dynamic. If you don't do this, ladies and gentlemen, you have to build bigger jails on the backside. That's waste of money. That is truly a waste of money. The criminal justice, or the